Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will be looking at some inconsistencies that have appeared in Daniel's story already, and the police won't answer foul play questions, but are scaling back the search and think the kids are probably not alive. So the first thing that we are going to look at is one thing that Daniel says, because he reckons that Lilly kept coming in and out of the room several times on Friday morning while he was with Malaya and their 1-year-old daughter. But then, in another statement, it changes to Lilly only poking her head in the room a couple of times. Now, coming in the room several times and poking your head in the room a couple of times are different things. So why has there been a change in Daniel's story? One important difference that this change in the story could make is that he manages to see that Lilly is wearing a pink t-shirt because she poked her head in the room a couple of times. But if Lilly had actually entered the room several times, then Daniel would have been able to remember exactly what Lilly was wearing, not just her t-shirt. So why did Daniel make this change? Maybe he didn't remember exactly what Lilly was wearing and wanted to avoid any complications, or maybe there is another reason. Let me know what you think of this change of story down in the comments. The next thing that we are going to look at
been involved at
is
this
what
point
the
yet.
police had to say when they were asked questions about this case.
On survivability, if you could give a little bit more detail there about how you're making the equation, bringing in cadaver dogs and assessing survivability.
So cadaver dogs could be the next step in terms of that part when we talk about scaling back. That could be another option that we now look at using. And getting back to that point, I mean, that decision was made based on a lot of factors. And if we thought they were alive right now, we'd still be out there.
So it could be, does that mean that no plans yet?
Not that I'm aware I can speak to of the cadaver dogs are coming or not. I can't speak to it.
Thank you. Is there a question here? No. Well, so George, do you two have something global? No. Okay.
I do.
Sure.
Hi.
Thank you.
I'm Lindsay Jones with the Globe and Mail. Wondering if you can clarify, we heard major crime has been involved since Sunday, is that correct?
Saturday morning.
Since Saturday, okay. So do you believe the children met foul play?
Do you want to talk?
Again, I'm not going to comment on specifics of the investigation. We're going to continue on, and when we get to a point that we've got information that we're able to make any decisions that are able to be public, we'll let you know at that time. But right now, I'm not going to comment on specifics. So.
Okay, so, but you don't believe the children are alive anymore?
No, based on the experts and the review of the facts, the inclement weather, the time frames, and their age, the likelihood that they're alive right now is very low.
Okay, and can I just ask one more question about the scaling back of the search? Are you reducing the number of searchers out there, or is it being concentrated just with RCMP now, or how is that looking differently on the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. So the searchers will be finishing at the end of their operational period today, and now it'll come back to the Pictou District RCMP, and we'll make decisions and put in plans of how we move forward.
So rather than having the large presence here, the massive number of searchers on scene every day, searches will be based on information that comes in and specifics in order to make things pointed and specific to areas that are pinpointed or specific to a search need in the area.
I believe we've gone through the group for questions at this point. So out of respect for the police officers here and the many searchers who are still there, I'd like to conclude our...
So the first thing that stood out to me is that the police officer says that if they thought the kids were still alive, then they would still be out there. So is this him basically saying that they are almost positive that the kids aren't alive? And if so, then why aren't they trying their hardest to locate them, unless they have something else that they're focusing on, which could lead them to an answer? Also, when the first officer gets asked about foul play, he lets someone else stand in to say that they aren't going to be releasing any specific information at the moment, so maybe this case could take a very dark turn which I hope it doesn't, and I pray that Jack and Lilly are somehow found safe, and if not, hopefully we will find out what happened. The last thing that we are going to look at today is a TikTok video, because I believe there are some very good points made.
I can't believe that it's been 2 weeks today that Jack and Lily Sullivan went missing without trace. Now, as a mother of 3 children, obviously I don't know exactly what I would do in that situation, but let me tell you what I wouldn't be doing. My priority would not be to reactivate my Facebook and delete all pictures or existence of my ex-boyfriend on there. I absolutely would not be doing that. What I do know that I would be doing though is looking for my children. I would be fighting anybody that stands in my way to look for my children. And if the police weren't doing enough to interrogate the person I thought who had something to do with the disappearance of my children, I would interrogate the bastard myself. So although I can't be 100% sure what I would be doing, I do know that I would not be disappearing off the face of the earth and concentrating on the admin of my ex-boyfriend. It is just weird, it's odd, it's suspicious, and it raises more questions about what her priorities have been. Because if her priority right now is managing her Facebook and how her Facebook looks to the outside world, then I'm sorry, but I'm questioning whether her priority has been her children. 2 children just do not disappear like that. Every day adds another day to them disappearing and leaves me feeling that as each day comes, there's a less likely chance that they're gonna ever be found.
So the main point that was made in this video is that if this was you and your kids were missing, what would you be doing? Would you leave the area or would you look for them? And if you suspected someone, would you confront them or leave? So it seems like the mum is in question here, and she has disappeared, and apparently she was advised not to speak on the case anymore, so we haven't heard anything more from her. Well, that's except from some activity on Facebook, which is another good point that was made in this video, because I did think that was a bit weird that Malaya decided to go on Facebook and change her relationship status to single, delete photos, and then deactivate her account again. This case is very strange, and we need to find out what has happened to Jack and Lilly. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we will update you as we find out more.